Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Mark Davidson. I'm the District Attorney here in the 25th Judicial District, which includes Lauderdale County. I also want to say thank you to all the local, state, and federal law enforcement for their tireless and relentless pursuit of this dangerous criminal. Thanks to their efforts, he's been apprehended and can be held accountable for his actions and his crimes. I want to give our condolences and sympathies to the family of Deborah Johnson, the victim in this case. Our office will be doing everything that we can to guide them and support them through the process and the prosecution. Today, Curtis Ray Watson went from being a escaped convict to being a criminal defendant facing charges of first-degree murder, aggravated sexual battery, especially aggravated burglary, and escape. I can assure you that our office will be resolved to see that he is put back where he can never escape again and harm anybody in our communities. He will be arraigned this coming week in the Lauderdale County General Sessions Court to begin the prosecution. That's where the case will begin. And it will not end until we get justice for Deborah Johnson and her family. Again, I want to say thank you to all the law enforcement that got us to this point, and rest assured that this defendant will not be able to escape again and menace our communities anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Now, if the Taylors would make their way up. Mr. Harvey and Miss Ann did a very good thing this morning. They were vigilant, just like we had asked the community to be. They're going to tell you a little bit about how their day began this morning. Mr. Harvey?
Okay. Hello. We were awakened about 3:30 this morning by the alarm on the Ring doorbell saying that someone was in our backyard. We pulled it up on the screens so that we could see it in the house, and we looked out, and there was this guy in the refrigerator. We have a refrigerator under our carport there, and he was in the refrigerator with his back. We could see his back, the camouflage clothing he had on, but we couldn't see his face at first. And once he closed the left side of the refrigerator door, my wife could see his face and recognize his beard, similar to mine. But she could see it. She said, "That's him. That's him." So I prepared for if he tried to come inside, and then we called 911. They sent out their representative, and from there, with God's help, they got him. And our community should be relieved that he's back in custody. Thank you.
The Taylors are willing to take just a couple of questions. Again, just a couple of questions if you have them.
If I could, Carrie from NBC, both you and your wife, at any point did you fear for your own safety, and what was going on in your minds and in your hearts?
Sure, yeah. In the middle of the night, you look at some person that's standing outside in your refrigerator or just standing outside your door. 2-3 feet from my entrance to that. Yeah, I was frightened at first.
And when you recognized who it was?
When we recognized who it was there, it heightened that fright, that fear. But I think we did the right thing.
And I think because we were looking at the ring, and we could see every move that he was making. And because, like he said, he had us covered in the house, that it made us feel a lot safer as long as he didn't try to get into the house.
Do you have a weapon to protect yourself, and did you get it?
Yes. Yes.
After all the news coverage over the last 4 days, it's been all over every single channel. I'm sure you guys have seen it, been on the lookout. What's it like knowing after all that you were, the two that helped bring him into custody? Did you think that would ever happen to you?
No, I didn't.
Never did.
Since it did, just relieved that it went the way it did.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a $52,500 reward. Have they talked to you about that? And are you due that money?
I would think so.
Thank you very much. We will take a few questions if you have them now.
Can you explain what Watson's condition was when you found him? Because we're hearing he was kind of covered in bug bites. His feet were in pretty bad shape from being wet, and we know he was taken to some sort of medical facility.
Yeah, he was taken to the hospital to be treated. He was obviously weathered from his time in the outside. He did have a number of mosquito bites. He did have some issues with his feet because of the wetness, and he did have ticks that had to be removed. So those are about all we can really talk about in terms of the medical.
Did he say anything about his escape? What did he say when he got taken into custody?
At this point, we're still investigating. We still are working through that.
He didn't say anything to the officers as they approached him?
No, not immediately, no. I mean, he just small talk, but nothing. Nothing.
Me or anything like that?
He was relieved to be over with his run.
Relieved?
Did he feel remorseful for killing Deborah Johnson?
I can't go into that at this point, but like I said, I can tell you that he had made the comment that there was he knew he wasn't getting away because of the number of law enforcement that was present.
Is there any reason to believe anyone was helping him? Because we noticed he changed clothes and he was wearing camouflage clothing. Where did he get that from?
Yeah, we have no indication that anyone assisted him. Everything that he had taken from other locations.
When do we get to talk about the reward?
That will be something that we'll have conversations about, and we'll address that.
I might have missed this, but was he armed?
As far as I know, we don't have anything yet, but we're still not done with checking everything. He had a backpack, so we haven't gone through it completely yet, so I can't answer that completely.
Does it look like he stayed within this area, or he traveled outside of the county?
No, he was in this area the whole time.
And maybe a question for the prosecutor about for those around the country, we're with NBC News, sir.
Yes, sir.
A charge of murder, will he potentially face the death penalty, or what will happen in this state?
That's a potential that's a possibility, yes.
You could state it rather than me ask the question. What's the possibility, sir?
We're looking at whether or not we might apply the death penalty or seek the death penalty in this case, yes, sir.
Can we hear from Ashley and Jessica about their experience apprehending this suspect?
Let me speak on their behalf. I was told that they were not as comfortable speaking as maybe I am, but
They're heroes.
let me just say that we're proud of all the law enforcement personnel. This is a coordinated effort, obviously. They were in the right place at the right time, and again, we had so many law enforcement personnel around the offender at the time of the apprehension. He really had nowhere to go. He understood that, and he walked out and gave himself up.
Just how many people did you have searching? Because we saw people on four-wheelers and trucks, helicopters.
You know, I don't have an exact number, but I know I would say in excess of 300 to 400 people total.
Would you like to give them a chance to come up and at least give us one word or two?
Well, that's their call. But they told me before they thought they would let me speak, but it's, again, just kind of camera shy. Anything else?
Any other questions?
I know you guys are still trying to process all this, but what is being done to honor Ms. Johnson for all her service with the state?
You know, there's so much. There's a GoFundMe account that's been established for Ms. Johnson's family. We gave Ms. Johnson a law enforcement escort from Memphis back to the funeral home in Nashville the other day, and there's a lot of other things planned for Ms. Johnson and her family. Let me just say a few things about Deborah Johnson. Deborah Johnson was 38 years in this department. I had never met anyone that was more professional, more dedicated to the mission of the Tennessee Department of Corrections than Deborah Johnson. Deborah Johnson was a true corrections professional in every way. And when I speak to her family, they tell me the same thing. They recognize that. Deborah Johnson had a love for the work that she done, and she served us well and the people of Tennessee well.
Any other questions?